Hi guys, this is Breaker. I'm a little bit sick right now, but I thought I'd go ahead and take a replay of two players that I have casted independently from two different tournaments. You'll have to excuse me, my voice is particularly squeaky today. Just something else you'll have to tolerate along with the background static noise. But without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you all our Terran in the upper right hand corner. His name is MillForGG. And in the lower left-hand corner, one of my favorite Protosses of all time, and I'll explain why in a few minutes, MVPLure. Oopsie, sorry about that, didn't mean for that to happen. Okay, now, here we go again. Alright, now, talking about the map, we are, of course, on, excuse me, I'm trying to think here, Cloud Kingdom LE, and I must apologize because my client is stuck in Chinese. I didn't relocalize it into English for whatever reason. Maybe I was just too lazy. I want to say that in the early game, a 1-1-1 would be very powerful versus Protoss, especially versus someone of the stature of Lure. What I do know about him is that as a player, as a Protoss player, one of his favorite openers is Blink Stalker, at least in PvZ, I do remember that much. I'm talking, of course, about the Neo TV Star League, which I casted. He was one of the 2 Korean players that was invited, and he made it to first place. He actually did pretty good, you know. I mean, not many people would think this, but there are a couple of Chinese players that are capable of competing with a few Code A Koreans. But I mean, you know, Code S, I'd like to see someone take on... I would like to see some foreigner take on IM MVP and say that they've actually won against him. I don't think that's actually possible, but... You know, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing Stefano versus IM MVP one day. I mean, that would be absolutely sick to watch. But here we go. It looks like we got the scouting SCV moving out for MillForGG, and we have the cybernetics core going down as is standard for MVPLure. He's going to want to scout his opponent, maybe eventually, before taking another Nexus or before teching up into, say, Twilight Council or something of that nature. But I'm telling you guys right now, I could be wrong, but I remember vividly the playstyle that MVPLure followed at the Neo TV Star League was, like, literally 7 out of 8 times he went with Blink Stalker openers. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that this time around. And then again, you know what, I wouldn't be afraid to retract that statement and just say, okay, you know what, I was wrong. But here we go, the SCV goes in. Doesn't quite know that there's a Nexus, but of course, if MillForGG was paying attention to that, then he knows that there's actually... If he was paying attention to the probe, then he knows that there's an Expo. But in return, he goes ahead and takes his own. And one thing I like about the position of this is that whatever we see MVPLure send up the ramp here, if it gets blocked off properly and the unit does not make it inside the main, then it will not have any real vision over what's going on. Second gas going down for MVPLure. And it looks like the Mothership Core is just going to stay back at home a little defensively. This is actually rather interesting. Alright, and we do have a double gas follow-up for MillForGG. I do know that he likes to do a bunch of... I know that he's a really big fan of 1-1-1 openers, but that's not what he's going for right now. Instead, what he's doing is he's tacking on a lot of barracks. One thing that I want to note, and you know, this has probably been said before, but the replay that I'm casting right now has been downloaded over 417 times. It was taken from Code A? No, Code S WCS qualifiers. So there we go. Tech Lab being added on to a barracks here. In quite a standard fashion, I might add. Did I have the music turned on? Sorry about that. I just now turned it on. But, so far so standard. The Stalker is going to come here, see that there is an orbital command coming up, but it's not quite aware of just what... You know, I don't think we actually have Lure thoroughly aware of what MillForGG is going for here. Alright. And now, we do have the robotics bay, of course, here. There is an observer on the way. First unit that gets put into production. I can appreciate that too, because he really drastically needs to know just what his opponent is up to. He doesn't know that there's like he doesn't know that there's a double racks inside the main. He's definitely not aware of that. And this is interesting. Factory is going down now in an early third. Wow. Alright, and both players just kind of drawing their line down the middle of the map and saying, okay, you know what, if you move that way, I'm going to move this way. If you move this way, I'm going to move that way. And this is actually something that Day 9 did a daily on let me think here, Cloud Kingdom LE. There is actually a legitimate way to make this your 4th base. What you do is basically you build a bunch of pylons down in this direction. That way you have complete and total vision, just dotting the way to the 4th. And then what you do is you basically put pylons all over the map and then attack into the kind of natural, the 3rd area without breaking down the rocks. I forget what the entire meta game is. Oh, and by the way, there's that Twilight Council I called out. Yep. Looks like we're going to see some favored Blink Stalker play, and I want to say that MVPLure knows what's going on now. He knows, like, that his opponent had a bunch of bio follow-up. And the factory's just going to be used as a hard scout. But in return, what do we have for MillForGG? Does he know that his opponent? No, he doesn't know that there's a 3rd. But now we have a bunch of stalkers moving out. Actually, just more like 3. But when that stim finishes, it's going to mean a lot of hurt for MVPLure, because that means the Marines will be able to chase down the stalkers, and Blink is just now starting for them. Ooh, and this observer barely gets away. Oh no, it does not. Wow, I did not see that coming. That is absolutely bitter for our red Protoss. But one thing I like about this is that even though he's kind of geared up to lose, basically almost guaranteed to lose some stalkers if he ever goes toe-to-toe with Marines, with the current numbers he has, he's actually got a plan behind this. He's actually got a macro plan. He's got, you know, he's got his 3rd base down already. That's like miles ahead of MillForGG right now. And where are those double medevacs? Yes, here they are. They're going to go straight into the main, and Blink is nowhere near ready. No, sir. Oh my god. So the probe's gonna get pulled just in time. What's gonna happen? They do. 1 of them, 2 of them fall. 3 of them. The 3rd one fell inevitably somewhere in this game, and a 4th and a 5th. What's gonna happen here? Looks like the gateway's gonna go unpowered. The cybernetics core, if that could have been targeted down, that would have been huge, but no, and the mothership core goes down. That's actually pretty good as well, and more probes over here at the 3rd actually being taken down right now. We can see that, you know, MillForGG, he's only on 2 base, but now he has superior income behind all this, and he's actually in a unique position on Cloud Kingdom LE. I never would have guessed. Wow, he actually... Oh my god. Lure has no vision of what's going on up here. Okay, but finally we have this kind of main-ish bioforce coming in to tackle that. Medevac gets taken down along with all the Marines, and so far we've seen MillForGG with heavier losses, but when we're talking about production units, we mean that MVPLure is ahead, and that is no exception as the Marines are getting pushed back from the 3rd. They can't go in and do any more damage. Speaking of 3rds, MillForGG just got his up, and if we check the worker count right now, he's actually he's in pretty good shape right now. He's actually particularly far ahead. We got a defensive photon cannon going down here at the natural, and let's see what's going out the main. Artosis pylon going back up on that poor gateway. Blink is now finished. And it looks like the sentries and the immortals are going to come here and kind of chase away this factory. I gotta say, I like the spread on MVPLure's units. He's doing a pretty good turtle job so far. The only problem is the limited amount of anti-air at his natural is just 1 cannon and a handful of sentries. If there was like a mass medevac drop there, then it would not have ended well for MVPLure. But that's a big if. And the Phoenix is going to come in here, this hallucinated Phoenix that is, and just get a good read on what's going on around here. Oh, but this is interesting. We actually have the Ghost Academy going down right now. So it looks like we're going to have 3 base Ghost to play, more or less. And double medevac drop over here. Just takes down a pylon, but that's because the pylon picked up on his position. And MillForGG is basically completely aware. Aggressive blink for it. That didn't work out. You know, I mean, MillForGG, he's just completely aware that his opponent would not just let a pylon. What's the word I'm looking for? He just knows, like, long story short, that if he's going over a pylon, MVPLure is going to see it for sure. Alright, now here we got 4 mortals. The pylon is going to get taken down again. And again, we can just see why both players are competing in the GSL. They're just absolutely amazing. That 14-hour-a-day training, it's really starting to pay off for these guys. Finally, we have Extended Thermal Lance in production, and we have one Colossus out and on the way. The question is, no, there's not one already. I was going to ask, is there a Colossus here already? But no, there isn't. We do have these Marines and Marauders just kind of patiently waiting to pounce on the third or the main of 4GG, and of course there's this huge gap that they can get into and get by with. Okay, and here we go. 4GG, what are you doing, bro? Moving back to the middle of the map, and it looks like I can't say with certainty where we're gonna see Lure Expo 2, but I would not be surprised to see it here. I wouldn't be surprised to see it here either, because it kind of looked like that was the direction he was pushing his pylons in, just a little bit. But honestly, this also could have just been a defensive pylon, just meant to pick up on whatever's going out. And we have the Mobius reactor just now getting researched after so long. After the Ghost Academy being ready for so long. So I got a weird question, since we got some macro time building up for both players, like the infrastructure's really getting tacked on, and we're gonna see some production in the next few seconds. My question to you guys is, would you guys be interested in watching a stream where I teach you guys to speak Chinese in the context of StarCraft? If so, go ahead and just hit the subscribe button on this channel, and I will do my best to help you guys out. And also just leave comments, no inflammatory comments or anything of that nature. Okay, and I'm going to post this to cast it once I get done with the post-production and everything of that nature. Looks like the main army of MillForGG is going out, and +2 is about to finish up for our Protoss protagonist. And we have +3 just about finishing up for, just getting started for MillForGG. It looks like the scan goes down, and with that we see the observer taken out. Now, one thing I do want to kind of highlight as a little bit unfair, after this engagement, here we go! These Colossi getting a lot of AoE, and there's like no Vikings here. There's only 6 of them, and I think 2 Vikings for 1 Colossus is not really a good trade. I think these Vikings will actually be lucky to kill 1 Colossus, and it looks like they might just do that. Aggressive blink forward onto the main army of 4GG, and it looks like, 4GG is in a lot of hurt. He's ready to pull back, but this planetary fortress is just about finished right in time. The only thing that can attack it safely right now is these Colossi. The Colossi are actually being taken down by the Vikings, and it looks like 4GG is in a lot of trouble for the present time. The question is he going to take down this planetary... He's going to lose his planetary fortress. He's going to lose his 4th base, but it's alright. Behind this, he had a 5th. Zealot going down over here, scouting it, and the SCV building it gets taken down. Wow. And it looks like we actually see 4GG basically forced to cancel that. Oh man. Kind of defensive blink back, but aggressive blink to kill some Vikings by those stalkers. Really nice move. And now we see MVPLure is trying to get into a killing position. He's got excellent positioning here. And ouch! The stalkers take out all the Vikings, and it looks like we actually have, Lure. He's kind of throwing stuff away, but the question is, where are the ghosts? I don't see any on the ground. It's almost as though 4GG forgot that he actually has a Ghost Academy, and here we go. It's 97 supplied to the 147 of MVPLure. And I'm just a little curious, who's going to come out over this victorious? Oh my god, everything's just streaming in. More Zealots, more Stalkers, and there it is, the GG from 4GG. That was absolutely amazing. This whole time I actually thought 4GG was a regular Code S competitor, but I do know he's been training in Europe. At least that's the last I had checked up on him. And what I wanted to highlight earlier, just as that observer got killed, was basically a few seconds after, or maybe more like a few milliseconds after the observer gets killed, or a few milliseconds after you lose vision of a unit because it's been destroyed. You can actually see what direction your opponent's forces that attack that unit are actually headed off into. So for that little psychological effect, that added psychological effect, what you could do is double up and send your forces in an opposite direction, and then send them in the real direction that you want to attack it. Just kind of, I don't know, faking it, if you will. But there it is, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's cast. This has been Breaker, and I'll see you guys next time.